I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. I think we're going to kick it off. Amanda, you've got something to share?
I do. It is, I want to, probably many of you know about our former member, Danny Brewer, but just want to share a little something in his memory. It is with great sadness and respect that we recognize our Board of Adjustments member, Danny Brewer. Danny passed away July 17th, and on behalf of the City of Berea and the Board of Adjustments, we send our sympathies to his wife, Misty, his family, and friends. Danny served on this Board of Adjustment since February 15th, 2022, after his retirement from Berea Police Department as a service to our community. That is the person that Danny was, a true serviceman. He was a Marine, a Richmond police officer, retired captain at Berea Police Department, and very active with American Legion and our veterans. He had been currently serving as a public safety officer at our city parks. Danny has so many positive qualities that made him a special person, really one of a kind. Danny was fair, honest, reliable, decisive, funny, and never shy. He was well respected in our community and county. I personally met Danny when I first started at the city 15 years ago. He is certainly one you won't forget. We appreciate all of his service and dedication to the city and citizens of Berea and Madison County.
Thank you. Yeah, he will be sorely missed. Definitely appreciate his insight, and oftentimes during evidentiary presentation, he would have some very insightful questions to ask about adjustment requests. So, yeah, he will be missed. All right, at this point, normally we would recognize any visitors that might be here for anything unrelated to the agenda, but unless somebody speaks up, I don't think we do. So we'll move on to, is there a motion to approve minutes for April 24th of 2024?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of Wednesday, April the 24th.
Motion's made. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The minutes for April 24th, 2024 are approved, and we will move on to new business. And this is the public hearing portion of the meeting. And our new business, we have Caitlin Howard. Address is 125 Silver Creek Drive. This is a conditional use request for a child care facility in an R3 multifamily residential zone, and any evidence presented will have to they'll have to be sworn in. So I think if you want to give us an overview, I'll swear you in. Okay. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you shall present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Thank you. So the property is going to be a little hard to see on this map, unfortunately. This is, well, I thought I had the right one. Yeah. So Silver Creek Drive here, at the corner of Crawford Street, and then it's just about a block away from Big Hill Road. So you would turn off, come down Big Hill Road, left on Silver Creek Drive. At that corner, there's an existing mobile home park here on the left. And then this house that they are making the request for is 125 Silver Creek Drive. It is in an R3 zone, which is multi-family residential. And then for in-home child care, it is subject to the license, the request that they are making. It is subject to licensure from the Cabinet for Health and Family Services. So I would ask the board that we would make any approvals contingent upon receipt of that state approval.
Okay. Any questions at this point? Would one of you all like to share what you'd like to do to this board? You'll have to come up to the mic, and I will go ahead and swear you in. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. And state your name and address for the record,
Yeah,
please.
absolutely. My name's Caitlin Howard, and I live at 125 Silver Creek Drive. So I, for a few years, I have 2 kids myself, and for a few years I've been watching one of my best friend's kids. She's a school teacher at BOA Community, and I just love it. It's been great for my kids and for us. And so through those couple years, I've just learned about the certification process to do the in-home certified. As a parent myself, I know that there's a huge lack in resource for childcare, as affordable options, and also finding people that you feel comfortable with. So that's kind of the push and why I wanted to be certified. Plus my oldest is going into preschool, so it kind of opens up more doors, I guess, for me to feel like I'm more capable of taking more kids. But yeah, so with the certification, I would take at the maximum 6 children, which includes my own children in the home. So 4 additional children is the max, what I'm shooting for. But yeah, it would be helpful because something that they offer is a grant, like a startup grant, and it would help install fencing for our home, for more safety for the kids. Since we already have kids, there's a whole lot of things that we already have that would be useful. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else, if you have questions for me.
What sort of hours, days of the week?
Yes, so I would work on a 4-day schedule, Tuesdays through Friday, and kind of like the school 7:30 to 3:30 schedule. Yeah, that's a good question. We have, I guess you can't really see in the picture, but we have like a gravel area. That's our driveway, and there we go. You can see that car right there. And there's grass that goes forward, so we could probably fit up to like 4 cars there if we needed to, but really they'd come in. If they parked, it would really only be like maybe 10 minutes for pick up and drop off, I imagine.
Do you anticipate having any staff?
Not unless I get more than 4 kids. If I got more than that, then I would look into that, but I think that's additional process that I'd have to go through.
And the ages?
Under 5. Yeah. That's the other part of the certification process. If I had a child that was under 12 months, which would be considered an infant, I can only take 4 children maximum, including my own kids. So I don't plan on taking infants, and if I'm already at that threshold with older children.
Do you have a backyard area that's fenced in?
I do have a backyard area. It's not fenced in right now, but this is one of the steps for the certification process to receive the grant. So they would pay for one to install one, because we want one anyway for our own kids, and this would be very helpful. Yeah.
One thing I will bring to the board's attention back to the parking is that Silver Creek Drive happens to be the access for the Utility and Public Works Department, which is just right down the street. I will just mention that they operate on those same hours. And then just wanted to also mention that we have a regulation that says all parking spaces except those required for single-family detached dwellings shall have access to a public street in such a manner that any vehicle leaving or entering the parking area shall be traveling in a forward motion. And of course, it would be at the discretion of the board, but I would, from a staff and perspective for safety of drop-off and pickup, would recommend a turnabout where we maybe they could at least pull off of Silver Creek Drive, because as I understand it, there's no parking along Silver Creek Drive. So I think they have to get off the street anyway, to allow for those utility trucks to keep, so that we're not interfering with that kind of truck traffic that's traveling there every day. And just maybe a turnaround. We allow gravel in single-family residential zones, for residential housing. So maybe just a gravel driveway where they could at least get off the road, drop off the kiddos, turn around, be forward-facing, coming out of your home.
Yeah, it does seem like it's a big yard, at least in the
Yes.
back. It does seem like, but even before you get behind the house, maybe there's enough room just for a, whatever you would call it, a 3-point turnaround.
Right, just a 3-point turn to allow someone to, again, pull up, turn around, drop off, just for safely dropping and picking up.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I remember when the utilities moved there, there was some discussion of trucks would not be accessing the utilities from Center Street, but would be from this street.
Correct. That is their access that they use. So, again, you're talking about in the wintertime snow plows, you're talking about bucket trucks, heavy utility trucks that come in and day out on that street.
Yeah.
So, that made me think, so bucket trucks aren't allowed on Center Street to come down Harrison?
I don't know if they are or not, but I think that this is certainly their primary, one of their, again, there's 2 ways in and out. I
Right.
don't know whether they're allowed to use Center Street or not, but I just know I often see them on Silver Creek.
And they're
So,
on Center Street as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Having some experience in childcare from my previous career, this is extremely hard. The licensing part of it is, to get the license is extremely hard, a lot of hoops to jump through.
A lot.
Once you have that license, subject to a lot of scrutiny with respect to compliance. And just, if it's tough looking after 2 kids, looking after 6, more power to you. Yeah, it's a thankless job.
Yep.
Certainly something that's well worth doing, but it's extremely hard. That leads me to my question. I know you talked about contingent upon receiving licensing from DHS. But at what point would we know, or that she either gets the license or doesn't, or if she gets the license and then decides, this is probably more than I wanted to take on, is that something that would come back to you? Does she have to report that?
So conditional use permits are subject to review by our office annually.
Okay.
So certainly we would want to know if you stop this use.
Yeah.
In terms of the licensing, that's what we have done in the past, is just, a local approval. But when you get that state license, you need to bring us a copy of that so that we can formalize everything.
Okay.
So, where might you be in that? Were you not able to get that license until you came and got a local zoning license?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one
Okay.
of the well, I've done a lot of the steps, but you have to get the way I understand it is here's all the steps. You do all of the steps, get all of your all your ducks in a row,
Yep.
and then you submit it to them, and
Okay.
then they approve it. So this is just one of my steps, if that makes sense.
Okay.
One of the bigger ones, I've already done the background check, the fingerprints, like all of those things.
Okay.
There's a couple smaller, other things that are you do, in your own time, like CPR certified, that kind of stuff. But have a lot of background in childcare already, so a lot of that stuff I just have to renew because I used to work in preschools before. But yeah, it's just making sure. And I have a coach who works with DCBS, and she comes and visits me frequently. She's been to my property, and she's helping me through the process. And I think once we submit the application and all of those things are approved, then someone from DCBS will come and officially approve it as well, like be on the property and have their own approval, I'm assuming, things.
So I think I would probably change that wording. I said contingency of approval, but it probably should be a condition. So we would grant if the board wanted to, we would grant the approval with a condition that the state licensure be submitted to our office.
Okay.
And any other, parking or other conditions as may be required. That would then allow her to formalize, send it on through the process where we're not holding up that approval. And I appreciate that because I did not think that through when I said contingent.
And that would also include, the motion would also include about the 3-point turnaround.
If that's what you so choose.
Yeah.
Again, it would be my recommendation, just because of how much Silver Creek Drive is traveled by those trucks. It's a pretty narrow, old street. Not a lot of room to get over if you had someone parked, for pickup or drop off. There's just not a lot of room on that road.
In addition to city roads department and utilities, we've got a lot of residential apartments as well.
A lot of multifamily there. Yeah, it's a very heavily traveled road.
Would certainly entertain a motion if we're ready for that.
I make a motion that we approve a conditional use request for a child care facility at 125 Silver Creek Drive to be approved with the condition that the state licensure needs to be submitted to the codes office and that there is a 3-point turnaround.
All right, motion has been made. Any discussion?
What about the conditional use going with the property owner?
The conditional use has to go with the property.
With that added conditional use with the property. Okay, so we have a motion to approve get my notes in order, for a conditional use request for a child care facility in an R3 zone. This is for 125 Silver Creek, and the request would include that state licensure be submitted to the codes office, that there be a 3-point turnaround so that cars can face the street, and missing the last one.
It goes with the property.
And yes, it sticks with the property owner, so it would not be eligible for the next owner if the property sells. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I wish you the best.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good luck.
you are direly needed. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, second.